What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Rise and Grind Radio 3.0, your go to source for all fitness things, health, and well being. I'm your friendly host, Scotty the Body. 2 seconds as I load this up here because it's not loading. All right. All right. Like I said, I'm Scotty the Body. Today, we're going to dive into a mind-boggling psychological phenomenon that can seriously impact your fitness journey. The one and only Dunning-Kruger effect. See, that's where I put in a round of applause, but my soundboard is not working. Moving on. Let's say, so what in the world is this Dunning-Kruger effect? Simply put, it is a cognitive quirk where folks who aren't exactly skilled at something tend to overestimate their abilities. This fancy concept was unraveled by psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger back in '99 in this mind-blowing study. Now, turns out people who lack competence in certain areas can't often see their own limitations, leading to some serious overconfidence, right? Now, let's dive into this intriguing idea and discover how it relates to our world of fitness. Now, you may be asking, if you haven't already, pause this video or open up another window saying, hey, what the fuck is the Dunning-Kruger effect? Well, here you go. The Dunning-Kruger effect is less complicated than you think. To wrap our heads around the Dunning-Kruger effect, let's trot off to some folksy examples outside of the realm of fitness, shall we? Picture yourself learning a fresh skill, right? Maybe you're strumming a guitar or tackling a brand new language. At first, once you've grasped the basics, you might feel like, a king or queen of the world, thinking you all got it figured out. But as soon as you venture further, you realize there's a whole universe of knowledge just waiting to be untouched. Or waiting to be touched that is currently untouched. Now, the initial overconfidence, that is the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's basically the gap between what you think you know and what you truly know, right? Novices often lack the wisdom to recognize their own blunders or gaps in knowledge, and they end up inflating their abilities more often times than not, right? Now, let's reel this concept of the Dunning-Kruger effect into the realm of fitness and see how it ties in. This is where the Dunning-Kruger effect gets sweaty. Now, in the realm of fitness, the Dunning-Kruger effect is as common as finding leprechauns at the end of the rainbow. Picture, I don't know, your gym newbie who's just starting out. They might binge watch some YouTube videos, gobble up some articles on muscle and fitness, and then poof, they think they're the second coming of Arnold. Now, they might fancy themselves as masters of perfect form while lifting weights, or they think they can whip up an ultimate diet plan without any expert input. No, it's levels, right? It's a mental health issue at this point. Now, this level of overconfidence spawns a bunch of hilarious misconceptions. Yes, I said hilarious. For instance, plenty of beginners downplay the importance of rest and recovery. Camera one, camera two. Now, they're convinced that the more sweat drenched workouts that you put your body through are going to yield superhero results, right? They might even believe they can sculpt a six-pack in a mere month by mindlessly crunching away. Classic, right? It's an old school mentality, folks. I mean, I'm sure we've all have fallen victim to it at some point in our life. I myself, I started at a young age, so it hit me early, right? I was doing, Jesus, I followed the old Herschel Walker training. I mean, I guess it works to an extent, right? Now, if you're familiar with Herschel Walker, this man was doing upwards to 500 plus, I think it was maybe 1,000 push-ups a day at one point, running, and I think sit-ups were his only workout every single fucking day. Now we're familiar with rest and recovery. Sometimes conditioning your body isn't always the smartest thing to do. You got to listen to your body, right? Otherwise, your body won't heal. And then when it doesn't heal, we don't build muscle properly or at all. Moving on. Now, this circus called the Dunning-Kruger effect is basically the circus of the fitness world. Moving on, so we can explore the fallout of this overconfidence. We call it laughing at the consequences of the Dunning-Kruger effect. Now, the Dunning-Kruger effect in fitness isn't all shits and giggles, right? It carries some serious consequences. Top of the list, the injury bug bites really fucking hard, man. Really hard. Like, for instance, I mean, there was years, I'm sure you guys have done it, folks, whatever. We've all fall victim to as much as you can, as many times as you can. 4 sets, 15 sets of this fucking shit. I'm here to tell you, it's not the way to go. We train smarter now. Science and methods have changed exponentially, especially just in the last decade or so. The last 2 decades, and then on and on and on, right? But yeah, you can seriously overdo it. Personal experience. It's not impressive to fucking leg press 2,000 pounds unless you're Ronnie Coleman, and even then, look at him. Is it really worth it? That guy's in a fucking wheelchair for the rest of his life, and I'm not saying it's just the fucking leg press, right? It's everything compounding. Why would you squat 800 pounds for a couple? Yeah, you won the Olympia a couple of times, but at what cost? You don't get to enjoy the life after. That's what we're kind of trying to instill nowadays is more of the mental health aspect, right? Like know when, right? If there's ever when, know when. And for a lot of us, you don't know when until it's, you get a health scare, like myself, right? We'll talk about that in another episode, but we'll get back to this injury bug, right? Now, when someone blindly thinks they've nailed perfect form, actually hasn't, they're just waving the biggest fucking red flag in the air, right? Picture them swinging weights all around willy-nilly, inviting those nasty back aches and those joint problems into their lives, maybe again and again and again and again, right? And then this insanity, we just keep seeing it over and over again. But that's not all. Hitting fitness plateaus is another common consequence. Now, overestimate remix, overestimating your knowledge can trap you in a never-ending loop of zero progress. You'll be stuck thinking you're doing everything perfectly, only to face frustration when those desired results don't magically appear. Now, it's maybe a little defeating for some of you, but we're going to get through it, folks. Right? This frustration can turn into what we call a motivational vampire, sapping into your drive and making you throw in the towel on your fitness goals. And let's not forget the mental health roller coaster. Jeez. How do I start this off? When overconfidence slams right into a wall of failure and disappointment, it's quite the blow of the old self-esteem. Remember, we're not just talking physical health here. Mental well-being is a huge, huge piece of the puzzle too. So, how the hell do we kick this Dunning-Kruger effect to the curb? Well, I'm also here to tell you. It's a little easier than you think, right? Let's kick this shit to the curb. To outsmart this Dunning-Kruger effect, we need to put on our thinking caps and embrace the lifelong quest for knowledge. The fitness realm is ever evolving with fresh research, with fresh research and techniques popping up like enchanting mushrooms. Staying informed through legit sources like certified trainers, scientific journals, and professional organizations is key to not having the Dunning-Kruger effect affect your life. Seeking guidance is another nifty move, whether it's snagging a personal trainer, joining a fitness class, or simply picking the brain of an experienced buddy. Outside perspectives can open our eyes to areas where we need little to no fine-tuning, right? Okay, we always need fine-tuning. It's like I just said, this is an ever-evolving industry. Of course, let's not forget about the power of self-awareness and humility. Now, this goes back into the whole mindfulness episode I had last month, right? Self-awareness goes hand in hand with mindfulness and humility, right? And empathy. If you want to go back in my page, you can go ahead and look at that episode. I got time for that shit right now, but feel free. So yeah, humility, big banger. It's totally cool not to know it all, right? That's fine. Just don't pretend to know it all. Remember, fitness is a journey, right? Not a fucking destination. I've had every elder, every coach, every old head, whatever you want to call them, that I've ever encountered that said this is a marathon, not a sprint. Enjoy your life. Pick up a hobby. Take your time, you know. This doesn't have to be everything, but it has to be a staple of your discipline, right? And understanding more aspects helps you let it become a staple. Moving on. Now, take your time to acknowledge your progress while staying open to learning and growing, right? You want to set smart goals, smart, realistic goals in order for you to be successful. Let's wrap up. I think I've taken enough of your time today. We're going to call it a wild ride because no one's talking about the Dunning-Kruger effect that I know of. So that was a hell of a wild ride, kid. Thank you for listening so far. To summarize the Dunning-Kruger effect, this little elusive bugger can seriously throw a wrench into your fitness journey. But rest assured, by recognizing it, actively seeking knowledge, and keeping those humble vibes alive, you'll be able to be on your way to a steady and safe progression towards your fitness goals. Now, remember, fitness isn't just about being a muscle-bound beast. It's also about building a rock-solid mental game and cultivating the willingness to bloom. Thanks a bunch for tuning into today's episode of Rising Grind Radio 3.0. I hope you found this captivating discussion both entertaining and enlightening. Don't forget to stalk us on Instagram. It's currently the only platform we're on, besides Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and we're going to reach out to a couple others in the next few months here. Stay tuned for our upcoming episode where we'll dive into another deep, dazzling topic. I think it's the top 10 supplements. It's a 2-part episode. Until then, keep on trucking towards those goals and stay kicking ass, kids. Peace.